Talk. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Joining me now, replacing Aaron William Freeland, is Eduardo Harari, and we're hoping that we'll get David Morisuti in as well. And what we're talking about, of course, is Leaf talk, and it's about talking about the Leafs. And we all know that the playoff series begins today, Eduardo, with the Toronto Maple Leafs at home to the two-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound too promising, does it? But we have to understand this is at least it's a different team that we faced in the last 4 seasons.
Are you implying that this is at least the team we haven't lost to yet? Is that what you're saying? We?
Correct.
Okay. Coach Keefe is building this game up to be, hammer and tongue. A lot of, well, he literally referred to it as being a violent series. It's going to be a violent series. So check in with, the guys that he has that are willing to play the really trench game. Do you agree with him that it's going to be like that, or was this a clever move by the coach to raise the profile of this series when it comes to physicalness to the point where the league might be called in to get control of this game early and often?
I think it's a good strategy. I don't think it's going to be a very physical series. To me, the Lightning are a quick hammering team when it comes to their scoring. They know how to counterattack any any attack made on them. But what I do feel is that for the first time in a long time, this is a Leaf team that is united and that has a common goal in mind. I think that for the first time, you are seeing uh, Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and company that they just don't want to be
A
in the
footnote?
yeah a footnote in the hockey news.
That's, they definitely don't want to do that. And well, as far as this team is concerned, we have watched the new players develop from being rookies to now being veterans to be league leaders, top 10 scoring, that kind of stuff. The Rocket Richard Award to, of course, Austin Matthews, who is full value for his ability to score. Last year, William Nylander led the Maple Leafs in scoring, something that Marner and Matthews had difficulty doing. Do you see Marner and Matthews, and how do you see them? With Bunting on the wing, I would have a little more faith in their ability to score. Not that who they have there now won't help them do that, but for some reason, the edge that Bunting brings to the game, the digging into the corner, the physicalness, the drawing of penalties, is going to be hard for that line to replace.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned Bunting because I think that it has been a difference with this organization. This team and and one of the things that I see in the Leafs this year finally is the defensive end is being protected. They have managed to help the goalies be goalies and not be just part of the net.
Mm.
And it's a welcome change. I think that Coach Keith uh, is trying to get them motivated. what I do see is if the Lightning is not, if the Lightning don't get away from the seat too quickly, is that they are going to get a lightning rod to that tonight, because with the all the crowd outside, and are going to be at Victory Square. That's going to be an amazing experience. All that crowd makes a difference, because they can hear a roar in the inside as well.
Absolutely. And of course the screen will be out there, so they'll be right up to what's going on. It'll be, instantaneous. Any great play will be heard from the outside. When a goal is scored, there'll be that extra cheering, like you said. Um, so, the excitement that'll be around Toronto for this series. Many, and I'm one of them, are convinced that this is probably the best Leaf team of the 4 years that we've sat here and watched. They've made a progression, and their depth at defense, I think, um, I think it's what stands out more than anything. And you're right, their defense. They have a very experienced defense now. They have a committed defense to physical play. They've got at least three defensemen now that can physically challenge the opposition. Now, Eduardo, having said that, and I agree with you, their defense is nothing compared to Tampa's size. Tampa is huge on defense. And, the forwards the Leafs have, who are second in the league in rebound shots, in other words, being able to make a play on a rebound, they're second in the league. And so, they're a team that basically takes advantage of those opportunities. Will it be good enough against this big defense that Tampa provides?
Well, let's look at the stats. The stats, and it's funny to say it. We were very productive against Tampa this season, considering uh, their size, as you mentioned. So I think that Toronto has an edge for this series, uh, and they don't have to worry about. They love playing in Tampa as well,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things I like is that we don't have to go to the Boston Garden ever again. Even if we win the series, we won't have to face Boston for the first time in a long time.
Well, it could change a little. If Boston wins, and well, if Boston wins and Florida loses, it would be interesting because the Bruins, being where they are, could end up playing the Leafs. It's not as the things have to line up for them. That's for sure. That is without a doubt. But regardless, we've got a guy in Steven Stamkos on Tampa that for the first time has scored 100 points. Braden Point's a little bit on the injured side. He could be in a fragile way. And Kucherov is the guy that was injured all year and he came back and they won the Stanley Cup a couple of years ago. He's healthy right now. And so, you know, the Leafs have some talented players, but so does Tampa. And their talented players, I think, Eduardo, have a little more experience. But that doesn't mean that things can't change. The Leafs are just the difference between Tampa and Toronto is less about the players, more about the team. In other words, the success that Tampa has had. It's not to suggest that Toronto can't have it. And, the first thing they have to do to have it is they got to beat the defending champion. There's no way to prove that you're ready for the playoffs more than beating the defending Stanley Cup champs.
Well, there's another little thing here that I care to mention, and I know that we don't have a great trajectory in the first round of the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
but for whenever the Raptors don't make it to the second round, the Leafs are poised to be there. So we have an advantage there because the Raptors
Oh, okay.
really
So
didn't.
MLSC's only allowed one success story a year. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Well, that's good news for Leaf fans. Not so good for the Raptor fans, whom,
Well, the
by the
Raptors
way,
are gone, so we don't.
yeah. Well, very they. I like the team. I like the players. They're just another one. Being a sports fan and then a commentator, it's easy to look at that team and see the help that they need. They need a big that. It's the same problem the Leafs have had over the years.
Well,
Size
it's the same
matters in
organization.
sports. Size matters in sports.
Yeah, it's the same organization.
Size matters in sports.
Yeah.
Now, there is a player. Well, there's a couple of players. There's Corey Perry, who last year was a big part of Toronto being undone.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto has this team. It's interesting because they have their core players, and we know who those are.
Mm-hmm.
But the backups, the guys that the third, fourth line in this Leaf team have proven to be very good without being known. And it when when you see some of the names surrounding that third and fourth line, you are saying, okay, who? I think things disregard the Leafs when they go to those lines because they say they are nobodies.
Well,
But
I,
let's
I don't
go.
know. I don't know if I'd say that, but I get your point. When they send Clifford Blackwell and Simmons out, they're sending a message. It's a message the Leafs haven't been able to send for the past few years, at least successfully. This might be the year. I think you're right. The third and fourth line, and you look at the third line has William Nylander, who we said earlier. How I mentioned that he scored the most goals for the Leafs last year in the playoffs, and he's with David Kampf and Pierre Engvall, who is probably one of the fastest skaters in the National Hockey League and has really developed a scoring touch. The Leafs do have three scoring lines, and that is clear. And their fourth line is going to be basically the line that sort of changes the direction emotionally of the team when necessary.
Now, the only thing, and this is a message for Mr. Sheldon Keefe,
Oh boy.
because uh, I think that the the on, the honest of the Maple Leafs has been one problem, and it's the constant changing of lines to realign because you feel that the lines are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. Please, Mr. Keefe, don't
well,
change the lines. Keep them the
well,
same.
Eduardo, in defense of Keith, and
No,
the
but
the
when
only
you look at
reason
Sheldon, it goes beyond that. It goes years back that we
I
changed.
I, I understand,
When we
but
win a game, all of a sudden the next game they change the lineups, and you
well,
say,
I
why?
do believe though that in recent, if you go by recent times, of course, he's changed a lot of lines. He's had some injuries to deal with, defensive pairings that were broken up by injury, and also, in all sincerity and honesty, and I believe him, and his actions align with his thinking, and that is that he wanted to develop chemistry among the players and different players. The reason for that, and personally, he doesn't explain why 100%, I guess, but I'll infer some information based on what he's done. He needs to be able to move Matthews, Marner around the lineup, as well as John Tavares, William Nylander. These are his big guys, and he knows it. His general manager pays them as big guys. So they need to get used to be playing with other players because it is what's going to have to happen. There is going to be a bit of a blender in the playoffs all the time. It's not always just because of injuries, but that's usually the biggest reason, because of injuries. There's also the idea that you want to eliminate the ability of a team that has a checking line or checkers that are having some success against your team and you're trying to shake them loose. And basically, that's the reason why I think he did it. And I think it's a great idea. Come playoff time, unfortunately, you're not going to get your wish. He's not going to keep the lines intact because of the reasons I just expressed. He's going to have to change them to avoid the checking. But does that mean it's a likable move? Of course not. Who doesn't like continuity? Who doesn't like habits? Who doesn't like things remaining the same? I don't disagree with you at all on the question that you raise and the request that you make based on fact. The problem is fact doesn't always rule a sporting event, a game, or a challenge between two coaches and two teams.
Actually, it's funny that you're talking about that because if you follow the Jays this season, it's the players that are telling the manager where to go when he starts to make
What to do?
changes. They protect the pitchers. They say, "You are not going to touch him. You are not going to take him out of the game unless we are ready for it."
Well, baseball and hockey and a lot of sports have relied heavily on statistics, right? Data drives the way teams and organizations work today. You know, statistics mean a lot, and to speak about the Jays and about that kind of team attitude is that they're a team that sticks together and believes in each other and backs each other up, which is fine. The Jays, you remember, they got rid of their manager to bring this guy in. Great, great manager for only one reason. He was going to yield to all the data that was put together, where the previous coach did not want to do it. He was more old fashioned. The other thing is, and you're right, not only does he have to pay attention to the data and the paperwork that comes his way and the paperwork, the players carry in their back pocket, he also has to pay attention to the players because there has to be a little emotion when it comes to a team, right? So you're right. I get what you're saying. And with the Leaf team, is that going on? It isn't as obvious in hockey because you don't have you don't have that bullpen situation where you have guys talking and you just, you know, talking almost about nothing, right? The benches in hockey are not as loose as they are in baseball. It's a little more uptight on the bench. You're getting ready for your next shift. Let's face it, Eduardo, you played baseball. It's not really that fast paced. It is so not fast paced. They're trying to figure out ways to speed it up. Hockey, on the other hand, does the same thing, but they're doing it from a lot different origination point. It's a lot different. So yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think if I understood you correctly, you were implying that maybe the Leafs players will do that too. The star players.
Yeah, I mean, there is and I am glad that finally we have a coach that understands chemistry between players, and he has kept somewhat great lines together.
Yes, he has.
Uh, you know, when they removed Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner from the first line, kept them apart and tried to put them in different lines, it wasn't working because the chemistry of the pass and the defense between those two players, it's phenomenal. And you are seeing finally that, I mean, I am not going to say that Austin Matthews doesn't come back to play defense when he has to, but being with Marner, he's more secure that he's going to be protected in case of something goes on. Mitch Marner is that type of defensive player that can alleviate situations.
Well,
And
I
you are
think
seeing it.
Matthews is as well. I think Matthews is a better defender than Marner, but he's in a position where his defensive work is easier to see than a winger
Yeah,
as a centerman.
yeah. So so it was great to see that those two players were kept together. That Nylander sometimes combines with Tavares in some occasions.
They've separated them two.
Yeah,
They've been separated.
yeah,
There's a chemistry thing that goes on there that I truly believe that Tavares um, and Nylander don't work well together. They're oil and water almost because you've got a guy in Tavares, and this isn't a negative towards Nylander or a positive or negative to Tavares. It's about the style of play that they both play. Tavares is a digger, works really hard to get into position, works really hard to get the puck to the front of the net, to create opportunities to be in front of the net. Nylander's a stick handler, a fancy Dan. And I don't think they play the same kind of style, which is why I think Tavares is working out better with Mikheyev, who's a bit more of a hard worker, as is Andre Cash, who is going to, so far, it looks like he's going to be on the line with Tavares. Hopefully he's healthy and he's able to play. He's an asset for the Leafs. Nylander works out better with Kampf and Engvall. Kampf because he's a dedicated, defender and able to play his position, and that keeps Nylander out of trouble, I think.
For sure. No, you know what? I think the game tonight is going to define a lot of what's going on with the Leafs. We know that they are a great regular season team, but tonight is going to be a real test.
It really
Uh,
will be.
and if they are able to come up with a win tonight, this series is going to be a really interesting game because Tampa, I don't think Tampa is giving the Leafs the recognition that they deserve for what they have done this season.
Well, if you're Tampa, you don't have to respect too many teams. You're the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, so I suppose we could pause and forgive them on feeling that they are what they are, which is a champion. But I have to say that with the Maple Leafs, as far as respect is concerned, and as far as the first home game is concerned, the toughest part of playing in the playoffs is winning that first game when it's at home.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's going to be interesting. I look forward to seeing what happens tonight. It's going to be an interesting game. I am actually going to be able to watch the first half hour, 45 minutes, because one of our shows got postponed to tomorrow. So I don't have another show until this CFL talk at 9 o'clock.
There,
So,
there you go.
so
It's tomorrow, Eduardo. The CFL talks tomorrow.
oh, so now I'll be able to watch the whole thing.
Remember, David, the Leaf game's
Ah,
on.
yes, that's right. I apologize.
Don't apologize. It's all good. You can watch the whole game.
Yeah, now I can watch the whole game. That's even better.
Which is what David wanted to do. He wanted to watch the Leaf game. Not that he doesn't love the CFL, but it is playoff hockey, and he does work for Sportsnet, and he's at a Sportsnet meeting right now, so he can't be with us right now, which is too bad. But we'll get him on here one day, for sure, and I'm sure he'll have some interesting comments, just as you did today. So game one, you figure the Leafs have got this one?
I am giving them a good 60-40.
So you sort of think they're going to win,
Yeah.
sort of, kind of. You think they're going
I
to
am.
win more than they're going to lose. It's
Yes.
not it's not it's not something you're really sure of. Well, here's what I'll say about the game tonight. The Leafs can win tonight. It is the toughest game to win when you're the home team in the situation that the Leafs find themselves. A road team in this situation has every advantage. They don't have anybody to impress. The Leafs, on the other hand, need to impress themselves, their coach, and their fans. And the management team up there in the press box, Leaf management, they're going to be paying attention to the game, and you'll be able to see them on tenterhooks with each play. Every time the camera's on them, you're going to see two nervous Nellies up there, and we wish them all the
Well,
best, and hope
let's
the
put
Leaf
it this
fans get
way:
their wish.
the fans, they don't have to impress. They only, because the fans are accustomed to what happens in first rounders with the Leafs. So if the Leafs happen to win today, it'll be a bonus to an extra day extended.
Now, Aaron will be at the game. I asked him if he gets some interviews done while he's there. He just laughed at me. So he'll be watching the game live and in person. It's been a while since he's ever seen. I don't think he's ever seen a playoff game in person. So good luck to him. Hope he enjoys the
Yeah,
game, and the rest of you watching,
sure.
hope you enjoy the game as well. Thanks for doing this, Eduardo.
I appreciate it very much for you to have me.
Okay, I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live's Leaf Talk. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for a short time at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Leaf Talk, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out spanglishworld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. See you next time on Wednesday. Enjoy the playoff hockey.